Well, hello, good morning. Today is the 15th of May, it's 8:30 in the morning. Welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing, and I'm your host, Rich Benfield, currently standing in for Stephen Ridgway today. So, the headlines this morning. Google Chrome zero-day vulnerability, that's CVE 2025-4664, is actively exploited in the wild. AI agents may have a memory problem. Hackers behind UK retail attacks now targeting US companies. Australian Human Rights Commission leaks docs to search engines. BianLian RansomExx exploits SAP NetWeaver flaw to deploy Pipe Magic Trojan. So, back to this Google Chrome zero-day vulnerability. So, Google has rolled out a fresh stable channel update for the Chrome browser across desktop platforms, including Windows, Macs, and Linux. In fact, I upgraded mine this morning. This update elevates Chrome to version 136.0.7103, 113, or 114 for Windows and Mac, and 136.0.7103, 113 for Linux. The deployment will occur gradually over the next few days and weeks, ensuring users worldwide receive the latest enhancements. So it addresses 4 vulnerabilities. Ready for some CVE numbers? Okay, CVE 2025-4664. That is insufficient policy enforcement in Loader. It's a 0-day. It's a high severity vulnerability involving insufficient policy enforcement in Chrome's Loader components, allowing remote attackers to leak cross-origin data via crafted HTML pages. Google has confirmed that exploits for this 0-day flaw are actively being used in the wild, heightening the urgency for users to update. This issue was first disclosed by a security researcher on May the 5th, suggesting potential exploitation prior to the patch release. This flaw could enable unauthorized code execution or sandbox escape. The next CVE that's fixed in this is CVE 2025-4609, incorrect handle in Mojo. Classified as high severity, this vulnerability stems from an incorrect handle provided under unspecified circumstances in Chrome's Mojo inter-process communication layer. Reported by a researcher on April 22nd, this flaw could lead to serious issues such as privilege escalation or memory corruption in Chrome's multi-process architecture. There's also a couple other fixes that don't have CVEs. We have unspecified vulnerability from internal audits, playing their cards close to their chest there. There's no specific details. It's been withheld by Google, but it's enhancing Chrome's overall security. And an additional unspecified fix from internal efforts. This is another fix from Google's internal security team, which details that are restricted until most users update. So there might be more news on that in the future. Okay, so to prevent potential exploitation, Google is limiting access to detailed information about those bugs until most users have updated their browsers. This restriction also applies if a flaw exists in a third-party library relied upon by other projects that have yet to release a fix. So users are strongly advised to update Chrome at the earliest opportunity to safeguard their systems with these essential security patches. Okay, so yeah, update as soon as it's available. Next up, AI agents may have a memory problem. Bit more of a narrative piece this. It's on dark reading. Links will be in the socials. So a new study by researchers at Princeton University and Sentient shows it's surprisingly easy to trigger malicious behavior from AI agents by implanting fake memories into the data they rely on for making decisions. So memory-enabled artificial intelligence agents that can store and recall user data for more intelligent and personalized decision-making are vulnerable to memory injection attacks that can manipulate their behavior in future interactions, a new study has shown. These AI agents, such as those used in MasterCard's recently disclosed Agent Pay and PayPal's equally new Agent Toolkit, store user data such as preferences, transaction histories, and conversational context to deliver very personalized decisions on behalf of users. MasterCard envisions its Agent Pay, for instance, as proactively making purchase decisions and recommending payment options based on contextual knowledge of a user's preferences and feedback. The rub, as it turns out, is that these technologies are vulnerable to attacks where a bad actor can implant fake memories into the data that an AI agent relies on, potentially causing it to make harmful or manipulated decisions on the user's behalf. Researchers at Princeton University and the Peter Thiel-funded Sentient AI development platform recently analysed the issue and discovered it's also alarmingly easy to exploit. There's a link to a new study where the researchers investigate the vulnerability of AI agents to context manipulation attacks, specifically within blockchain-based financial ecosystems. If that affects you, follow the link that will be in the social. You'll find in this article the link to that study. The researchers found that by manipulating the memory that AI agents use, an attacker could bypass guardrails and hijack its decision-making. What was scary, according to Princeton, was that doing it required no complex tools, only careful prompting and access to the agent's stored memory. In simple terms, they discovered a way attackers can plant fake memories into an AI agent's mind. Think of it like gaslighting the AI. The attacker sneaks false information or instructions into the agent's memory logs, so later the agent remembers something that never truly happened and acts upon it. As an example, he says an attacker can insert a bogus instruction like always send payments to XYZ account into an AI agent's memory. The agent trusts its memory and might follow that malicious instruction without realizing it's fake. This is the core security issue: memory hijacking or memory injection, where the AI's stored context is corrupted to make it misbehave. So that's a little bit worrying. Not sure how that's going to be prevented, but I think in the real world, if you get we're all used to AI hallucinating, right? Either through bad prompts or just from bad knowledge it's picked up along the way. So if you get weird answers from an AI or weird recommendations, do your own research, double check. Realistically, AI is still in its infancy. It appears to be improving at an exponential rate, in all fairness. This year we can do 100 things better than we could do last year with AI. So it is improving, and no doubt this sort of attack vector will be stopped in time. But this may impact how your AI usage policies work, guidance and advice you give to your staff. But essentially, there is a potentially wide impact with it. It's not just in AI for crypto, for instance. It could be anything like banking, e-commerce, healthcare. It's all at risk with this sort of attack. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Hackers behind UK retail attacks now targeting US companies. So Google warned today that hackers using scattered spider tactics against retail chains in the UK have also started targeting retailers in the US. The US retail sector is currently being targeted in ransomware and extortion operations that we suspect are linked to UNC 3944, also known as Scattered Spider. The chief analyst at Google Threat Intelligence Group told Bleeping Computer, where you'll find this article. The actor, which has reportedly targeted retail in the UK following a long hiatus, has a history of focusing their efforts on a single sector at a time, and we anticipate they will continue to target the sector in the near term. US retailers should take note. So, as first reported by Bleeping Computer, British retail giant Marks & Spencer's was first breached in a ransomware attack where threat actors encrypted virtual machines on VMware ESXi hosts with the Dragon Force encryptor. This attack was attributed to Octo Tempest, Microsoft's name for Scattered Spider. Co-op also experienced another cyber incident, confirming that attackers stole data from many current and former members. Harrods also disclosed on May the 1st that it was forced to restrict internet access to sites after attackers tried to infiltrate its network, suggesting an active response to a cyber attack, even though a breach has yet to be confirmed. As a side note, whilst we're talking about M&S and Co-op in particular, they both responded differently. M&S got hit horrifically, whereas Co-op downed their own systems, as far as I'm aware. So they took their systems offline to prevent attack at the first sign of trouble. So two different approaches there, both disruptive to the businesses, but we'll see in the fullness of time who has come out on top in that regard. They're both hugely disruptive. Stock's not in shops, all sorts of things like that, and it's still going on weeks later. So it's a big deal. It goes to show you that it's a big deal no matter which approach you take. You either get attacked, don't detect it in time, and all hell breaks loose, or you down your own systems as a preventative measure, and you're still massively disrupted. You would hope that downing your own systems would actually be easier to recover from. You'd think it would be, but Co-op do seem to be struggling. It's very interesting. Keep an eye on the press. Keep joining the daily cyber briefing with us, and as those situations develop, we'll keep you updated. So back to this article. The Dragon Force ransomware operation has claimed all 3 attacks, and Bleeping Computer has learned that the attackers who orchestrated them have used the same social engineering tactics linked to Scattered Spider threat actors. Dragon Force surfaced in December 2023 and has recently begun advertising a new service designed to allow other cybercrime groups to white label their services. So, yes, I think we spoke about this just a couple of days ago. Dragon Force are now offering ransomware as a service. Since Scattered Spider started targeting UK retailers in April, the UK National Cyber Security Centre, the NCSC, has published guidance to help UK organisations strengthen their cybersecurity defences, and has also cautioned that these cyber attacks should be seen as a wake-up call, as any of them could be the next target. If you do not have a SIEM in place, or any form of log aggregation, or anyone looking at your security logs, and you're in retail, now is the time to sort that out. In fact, last year was the time to sort this out. But if you need help, just shout, okay? The UK NCSC has yet to attribute these incidents to a specific hacking group or threat actor, and said it's still working with victims to determine that. Whilst we have insights, we are not yet in a position to say if these attacks are linked, if this is a concerted campaign by a single actor, or whether there's no link between them at all, stated the NCSC. We are working with the victims and law enforcement colleagues to ascertain that. So, okay. If you are a US-based company listening in the retail sector, start reading up on everything you can. Lean into your threat intel, read all the articles around these UK retail attacks, because they are heading your way. Next up, Australian Human Rights Commission leaks docs to search engines. So the Australian Human Rights Commission, the AHRC, disclosed a data breach incident where private documents leaked online and were indexed by major search engines. Many of the hundreds of documents exposed online contained private sensitive information like names, contact information, health details, schooling, religion, employment info, and photographs. So this is the PII bit. This is sensitive information. It should never be indexed on Google, let's be honest. So this is quite a big deal. The AHRC is an independent statutory body established by the Australian government with a primary role of promoting and protecting human rights in the country. It receives and investigates discrimination complaints, monitors compliance with international human rights obligations, conducts inquiries and research, and oversees related projects and initiatives. Although the organisation does not have court powers, it receives complaints from the public and tries to resolve them through conciliation, while it refers unresolved cases to federal courts. According to an announcement published on the AHRC website, the breach impacts submissions between the following dates: complaint web forms between March 24th, 2025 and April 10th, 2025. The Speaking from Experience project between March 2024 and September 2024. Have to infer that is a wholesale breach on that particular on all that project data, and submissions to the National Anti-Racism Framework concept paper between October 2021 and February 2022. A total of 670 documents have been exposed online and accessed between April 3rd and May the 5th. While some documents already have contain public personal information, others expose sensitive data that may be damaging for the individuals submitting it in the context of the topics AHRC deals with. The organisation has said the incident was not a result of malicious external attack, but more details will become available in a future update. So, quite possibly human error by their staff. Meanwhile, AHRC has requested the immediate removal of the indexed files from search engines and disabled all web forms to prevent a subsequent exposure due to underlying misconfigurations. Oh, there we go, human error. A dedicated task force and investigation are underway, while the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner has also been notified. Those who are determined to have Those who are determined to have been impacted by this incident will be notified personally, and a helpline has been set up to offer support. Apart from the standard watch out for scams or suspicious activity advice, AHRC also lists links to mental health support platforms, indicative of the distress that such a data exposure may cause to affected individuals. Okay, the last headline of the day: BianLian RansomExx exploits SAP NetWeaver flaw to deploy Pipe Magic Trojan. So at least two different cybercrime groups, that's BianLian and RansomExx, are said to have exploited a recently disclosed security flaw in SAP NetWeaver. That's Tractor's CVE 2025-31324, indicating that multiple threat actors are taking advantage of the bug. Cybersecurity firm ReliaQuest, in a new update published today, said it uncovered evidence suggesting involvement from the BianLian data extortion crew and the RansomExx ransomware family, which is traced by Microsoft under the moniker Storm 2460. BianLian is assessed to be involved in at least one incident based on infrastructure links to IP addresses previously identified as attributed to the e-crime group. So they identified a server at 184.174.96.74. Throw that into your threat intel and look it up. Hosting reverse proxy services initiated by the rs64.exe executable, the company said. This server is related to another IP, a 184.174.96.70, operated by the same hosting provider. The second IP had previously been flagged as a command and control server associated with BianLian, sharing identical certificates and ports. If you've got block lists, they should be on that. Run those IP addresses through dracoi.com and see what they say, and make sure they're blocked, would you? ReliaQuest said it also observed the deployment of a plugin-based Trojan dubbed Pipe Magic, which was most recently used in connection with the zero-day exploitation of a privilege escalation bug, CVE 2025-29824, in a Windows common log file system in limited attacks targeting entities in the US, Venezuela, Spain, and Saudi Arabia. The attacks involved the delivery of Pipe Magic by means of web shells dropped the following exploitation of the SAP NetWeaver flaw. Although the initial attempt failed, a subsequent attack involved the deployment of Brute Ratel C2 framework using inline MS build task execution, ReliaQuest said. During this activity, a DLL host.exe process was spawned, signaling exploitation of the CLFS vulnerability 29824, which the group had previously exploited, with this being a new attempt to exploit it via inline assembly. Okay, the findings come a day after Eclectic IQ disclosed that multiple Chinese hacking groups, Tractors UNC 5221, 5174, and CLSTA 0048, are actively exploiting CVE 2025-31324 to drop various malicious payloads. SAP security company Onapsis revealed that threat actors have also been exploiting CVE 2025-31324 alongside a deserialization flaw in the same component, which has another CVE, that's this year's, and it's 42999, since March 2025, adding the new patch fixes the root cause of CVE 2025-31324. There is little practical difference between these two CVEs, as long as 31324 is available for exploitation. Okay. 42999 indicates higher privileges would be required. However, the 31324 CVE affords full system access regardless. A threat actor could exploit both vulnerabilities in an unauthenticated and authenticated user in the same way. Therefore, the remediation advice is the same for both CVEs. So, if you're a SAP NetWeaver business, then patch like mad, like it's going out of fashion. Okay, and that concludes today's daily cyber briefing. Sorry, that was quite a wordy one, but I hope you found it valuable. Stephen will be back tomorrow as normal business resumes, and I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Have a